Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Reverend G. I am Reverend Grenetta Mason, aka Reverend G, and I'm here every Monday night on WEMS radio from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., bringing you spiritual conversations. I have guests from all walks of life, from different careers, and we come together to talk about spirituality. We talk about current events, and we talk about different things in hope that we can support you in living your best life with joy. My guests, we come on and we talk about their spiritual journeys. We talk about the spiritual toolkit that I'm always talking about. So I hope that you enjoy these shows and you continue to join me here on Monday nights at 8 p.m. You can also find me on Instagram as Rev Grenetta and on Facebook and YouTube as Reverend Grenetta Mason. So tonight I have a special guest, Derek L. Gibbons. And I met Derek at Momentum, as a lot of the people you know that I bring on the show, I've met at Momentum. But Derek's sister is my best friend. And I'm so excited that I was able to get Derek to come onto the show. Derek has his MBA. He works as a senior project manager. He's also a singer, a writer, and a producer. So I love that Derek has a day job and an evening job, but it all comes together for him. So let's welcome Derek on the show. Hey, Derek.
Hey, Grenetta. Hey. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
In the words of Kevin Hart, so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Yeah. I love it.
How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Good. I'm hanging in there. I just have a lot of death around me lately with the COVID. I have like 2 friends, my uncle and my sister, but I'm okay. I've been using the spiritual practices that I have to keep myself, whenever I find myself feeling sad, to, have that, but then not stay in there, so just keep moving through. And then I know it's going to take a little time, but I'm moving through it, like having the feelings. And then, so I'll say it's up and down. I can laugh and joke, and then I might be a little sad, but my goal is to stay, at a good even pace about it.
I mean, the one thing I can say is you have to be true to your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings. Don't repress them. Don't try to push them down. When those feelings arise, let them come and deal with it. And, time is the great, healer. So it's going to take time. You just have to let time take its time. We've all experienced, someone who probably the majority of us, especially a lot of folks in the Black community, experienced a lot of, people that have, been tested positive for COVID. Some folks that have also passed away. It's also touched my family as well. My mother passed away on April 18th of last year from complications from COVID. So a lot of people hurting. A lot of people are, experiencing pain, and a lot of people are home alone. And so the thing I say too is reach out to folks. If you need support, don't. If you need to spend that time alone, spend that time alone. But we all have the ability to reach out to folks, ask for support.
Yeah.
Ask for support if you need support, because people will support you if you ask them, So that's what you have to do. And just keep it moving. Like my wife says, keep it moving. KIM, keep it moving. Yeah, I know it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, but as I say, it's good. I feel good about just keep moving through it. Right. So introduce yourself, Derek. I gave you a lot of titles like the MBA, and I know you worked in IT and healthcare, but introduce yourself.
Okay, well, that's my day job. As you got to pay the bills, got to pay the rent.
Right. Exactly.
So just to go way back, I grew up in Newark and East Orange, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the Newark school system, East Orange school system. But as a kid, my sister and my brothers and I, we were in a singing group called the Givens Kids.
Mm-hmm.
Some folks might remember that. We also had the pleasure of going on the What's Happening show, which was a show. Oh, probably. I know probably if anybody who was born in 1980 or 1990s watching this, they don't know what the What's Happening show is. Probably telling my age.
Maybe they saw the rerun.
Yeah, yeah. So What's Happening?
Syndication.
Yeah, it was a weekly television series with characters Raj and Rerun and Dwayne. So we had the honor of being on that show for an episode. We also performed all over the United States. They called us the Little Gladys Knight and the Pee Wee Pips because it was my sister Audrey and my three brothers. And so we performed all over the country. We also released several albums as kids. So I've also done some commercials we were child actors. We were in acting school. So that whole the whole entertainment bit when we were younger. But as you get older, my goal was to stay in the music business, to continue acting, and it's a tough business. It's a business. As a matter of fact, my kids are my younger son actually is. He went to school for audio recording and video recording. He currently has his own studio in Patterson, New Jersey. And my daughter went to acting school and the American Music and Dramatic Academy. So she's an aspiring actress as well. So that's what they want to do. I support them as much as I can, but it's you gotta hit the ground running,
Yeah, exactly.
So
I know what you mean because my daughter started out as an actress, as a model, as a child, and then she went on and she did all of that until she switched her career now, and she's pretty excited about her new career. But that business is really interesting, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
as a kid, right? You think about it.
I tell my kids it's like hitting the lottery. Entertainment business, it's few and far between. But that's not to say that if you believe in yourself and set out a plan and have goals and just go towards them, you just have to believe. You just have to believe that you'll meet the right people, places, and things to get to where you need to go. And just, stand in that conviction and just, do something every day towards your goal. Do something every day. Have a plan. And you just can't, kind of be blown in the wind. So,
you think a lot of people give up or don't, because it sounds, when I think about what you said, you have to believe, we talk about setting these goals and believing in them. And then a lot of people still fall short of that, right?
Right.
And so I sometimes think about, always the reboot, right? You can believe, right? And
you have to go, you just have to go, it's intuition. It's gut. It's your gut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do get that. Right.
For example, look at Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman really did not have success until he was at the age of 40. And if you go back and read, his journey, you'll see that time and time again, there could have been many times where he could have given up.
Right.
And in his 20s and 30s, but he kept at it. He kept at it. And 40, I can't remember what really gave him the break, but at 40 was the age that he was. He really made a break, and I mean, the rest is history. So it's just some people, just have that tenacity. Some people just have that. When the one door closes, it's just one step closer to a door being open, or someone says no, it's just one step closer to a yes. You're just getting one step closer to that yes. I tell my daughter, you're going to go through hundreds of auditions. You're going to get maybe hundreds of no's before you get that one yes. So
And having the stamina and being able to stick to it and keep
Right.
going. And we talk about, I talk about spirituality from that perspective, because that what I like to talk about spirituality as a way to use it in your everyday life, not just when something happens, but as a natural part of everything that you do, and not
Right.
make it something that you can't connect to or know about.
Right.
Right. And so we talk about what spiritual tools can we use.
Right.
And that comes to mind when I think about you guys. So I'm thinking about, can you talk a little bit about what your spirituality, the spiritual journey you were on as little kids in the industry? Did
Okay.
you know?
Well, no, yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I grew up with there's seven of us.
Okay.
Single parent. Was born
Mm.
in I was born in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
I made the trek to Newark, New Jersey when
Mhm.
I was 2 years old. My mother and
Mm.
brothers and sisters. So we grew up in a single household.
Mm.
It was tough. There are many days. I had to go next door because the apartment that we lived in, there was no running water in the wintertime. I
Mm.
remember my mother giving me a pail and saying, "Go next door to the neighbor and ask him if you can fill this pail up with water so that we can wash up." Right. And I remember it being so cold.
Mm.
When I went next door, put the water in the pail, and seeing the drops of water fall on the ground, that they would automatically freeze. I remember those days vividly.
Mm.
I remember those days, where it wasn't much in the refrigerator.
Mm.
But I tell you, as we got older, I remember going to the refrigerator. I'm talking maybe now, fast forward to 15 or 16. We'll go open up the refrigerator. I'm like, "Mom, there's nothing in the refrigerator to eat."
Mhm. Mhm.
And my mother would go in the kitchen. We didn't see anything in the refrigerator. It didn't look like there was anything in it to eat. My mother could
Right.
always go into that refrigerator
And
and whip
find
something
something.
up and make a meal.
Yep.
You know,
Mm.
but my mother sacrificed a lot, for her seven kids because again, she raised us on her own.
Mhm.
So there was no father. I didn't have a father around.
Mhm.
My older brother, his name is Ed.
Mhm.
He pretty much took the role as the father figure for the rest of us.
Oh.
And he went off into the army when I was 13 years old.
Mm.
So, from 13, I guess, you're in high school, you're 15. It's all, about the folks that you hang around with, your friends.
Yep. Mhm.
But I just always, I think for me personally, as a kid looking back, I've always had the desire to learn
Mm.
more, regardless of the environment that I grew up in.
Mhm.
Again, like I said, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. It wasn't a suburb. It's
Mhm.
sometimes you are the product of your environment, but then you have a choice to step outside of your environment and learn that there's other things outside of that environment that could propel you to where it is
Mhm.
that you want to go.
Mhm.
So I've always had this sort of, I guess, intuition or whatever you want to call it, to kind of constantly seek to learn new things.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
let me tell you something. I remember when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of self-help books. Wayne Dwyer.
Oh,
One of
okay.
the Wayne Dwyer. I don't know how I stumbled on the Wayne Dwyer, but
Mhm.
that
As
guy.
a
There's a
kid.
book called
Mhm.
Your Erroneous Zones, and that
Mhm.
book somehow just kind of made me step back and assess my life and just help me to kind of determine, say, hey, regardless of where you are,
Mhm.
you have an opportunity to to get to where it is that you want to go, to step outside of whatever environment you're in. If it's a
Mhm.
bad environment, you still have a choice. It's all about life is about choices, right? We all
Yeah.
know life is about
Oh.
choices. We still have the choice to step outside of our comfort zones or to do whatever it is that we need to do to get to where we need to be. Now,
Mhm.
that's not to say we went to church when we were younger.
Mhm.
There was a music teacher who took I guess she was a music teacher, and my sister and brothers and I were in the glee club, they call it at the time, and she took a liking to us. Funny thing
Mm.
is, she had the same last name. Her last name was Gibbons as well, but she was no relation.
Oh.
So
Wow.
that's how the Gibbons kids started that whole singing. We were all in Harry Tubman School on South 10th Street,
Mm.
New Jersey. And she just took a liking to us for some reason. Maybe probably because we had the same last name. I don't know. And that relationship developed over time. She put us in acting school.
Wow.
So I'm talking. I was 11 years old. I was 8, 9 years old. I think Audrey was probably 6 or 7. And we were in acting school. We were singing, and there from the acting school there were what's her name? Chip Fields. Kim Fields' mother was also in the acting school. There were other notable, young stars back from the day. They were in the acting school. Now Chip was on the What's Happening show. So Chip recorded us singing on a tape, and she sent it to the producers of the What's Happening show, and that's how we got onto the What's Happening show. So so again, it started from that journey of a teacher.
A teacher, right?
Taking the time out, right? So this is how we know how important teachers are, and teachers don't get enough credit because it was a teacher that really changed my life. You know what I mean? In addition to my mother being the rock, to making sure that her kids had food to eat and that she, that she did what she needed to do in spite of the hardships and challenges that she had to go through. To make sure that we grew up to be, somewhat decent people. So, it takes a village. And
how long, Derek? So you guys sang together as the Givens Kids until you what, 18 or
we sang together. Until we were probably 18. We went from the Givens Kids to the Givens family.
Okay.
It was first the Givens Kids, but when we turned, 17, 18, I think we probably till early, I would say 2021, we probably stopped performing as the Givens family. And then we kind of went off into our separate ways. You're trying to make it in the music business, and then also you're 20, 21 years old. Say, hey, I got to put food on the table. I need a job. I got to work. I got to pay bills. So unfortunately, some of us don't have, I guess, the support network in place to continue to just constantly focus on that craft that we really want to do. So, but I wouldn't be the person I am today had I not gone through the experiences that I've gone through. So I got a job, and then I started a family. As as you get older, you started family relationships. But I've always loved music because it's always been a part of me. It's been a part of me since I was a kid. So I continue to stay in it. I do it for the love of it. It's not, for me kind of become famous or anything at this point. I love singing. I love songwriting. I love the whole production, being in the studio and creating something from scratch and working with other like-minded individuals is, you just kind of lose track of time when you're in that element of doing something that you love.
That's really cool that you still can do the music, and do your day job, but still have a love for the music, get to produce it. Because I know you did a new single recently, and you did an album.
Yeah, I did an album called Once Again as part of Momentum. I don't know if you got any Momentum folks out there. Momentum.
Yeah, everybody that comes on this show is from Momentum.
What the hell is Momentum? So through Momentum, Momentum teaches you some techniques so that you can kind of learn about yourself and get to that what's next. And so part of the curriculum and part of the program is for you to do for you to set some goals within 90 days. And one of the goals was that I stated that I wanted to do was release an album, which is something that I always wanted to do, but through procrastination and through life through lifing, as we call it, just taking it forward. You just kind of time just flies by. So Momentum really allowed me the chance to really focus and hone in and target within those 90 days to get that album out and release that album. So that was I was able to release that in 2015. Probably it was January 2016. It came out December 26, but it was January 2016. So released an album, which was great. And again, I've written songs for other folks. I've written songs for George Benson, Queen Guthrie back in the day, and other local artists. I've had the pleasure of doing like background vocals for other local artists, George Benson, like I just mentioned. So I just constantly always loved being in the music and staying in it. But again, like I said, life happens. So you just, you do your day job, and you make time for the things that you love.
You absolutely do, right?
Right. People say, I don't have time. I don't have time. Right. You got to make time for the things that you love. So,
I like that. What you said about momentum in the 90 days. What I was thinking about is the program really have you step out there, really step out into what you really want.
Right. Stepping out on the right.
Yeah,
stepping out of that comfort zone, right? What stepping out on that branch, that small branch.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
It was a great Moments was a great experience.
I know also that you are right now in the healthcare industry, and we're in the midst of COVID, right? What role are you playing in that, and how has being in the healthcare industry, what is impact has COVID had?
Well, I'm on the IT side of the health industry. I work for it's information technology for those folks who don't know. I'm a senior project manager, and so as a project manager, I help coordinate all the activities for projects. It could be a technical project. Let's say we're doing a clinical system upgrade. We're upgrading a electronic medical record system. It could be something of that nature, or in terms of COVID, I was on the COVID IT project team. And so my job was basically to coordinate all the activities so that all of our hospitals can begin administering the vaccine when Pfizer and Moderna released the vaccine. So all those activities that, need to be coordinated in terms of the electronic medical record system, making sure documentation that needed to be built in the system was built. I'm not the one doing it, of course. It's always the subject matter expert. Just help working with the resources to make sure all those activities that need to get done, so that when a patient comes to the clinic or to wherever the designated location is for them to get that vaccine, that all the things that are set up that need to be set up to administer the vaccine, to document it so that it could then be sent to the state for reporting purposes. All those activities need to get done. So I was part of that team.
Okay.
So, and it's still ongoing, because right now we're doing, there's Pfizer and there's Moderna. So right now we're in the process of starting the second dose administration for for folks that received the first dose 3 weeks ago and a month ago. So
I just saw today on the news where they were saying, I just caught a glimpse of it, where they were saying there's still like the racial disparity in the way that even the vaccines are going out, right? And
I'm not. I don't want to get it political, but
you're not political, right? I mean, when it just came to mind, I just heard it a little while ago. It's like breaking news, right?
Yeah, the current administration was handed, they were handed, or they were not handed, a plan that should have been in place to continue or to expand on administering the vaccine from a national and state level. So the coordination from a federal and state level, that coordination was not in place, as we were told. So now the current administration is pretty much having to start from scratch to work with the states and get federal resources in place, as well as work with Pfizer, Moderna, those manufacturers, to get more vaccines in. All those activities that should have taken place months ago when this thing hit should have been in motion. So that's where. So it's a it's a multitude of different things. It's
Yeah, yeah.
there's no federal coordination with the states, and then there's also the supply level is not there.
Mm.
So
Yeah, so much, right?
yeah, it's a lot. So it's gonna take a minute, but I'm hopeful that the current administration is going to get things in order. They seem to be moving in the right direction. I understand that 200 million vaccines are currently on the way that have been ordered by the government. So just wear your mask, folks.
Right. That's what I would say, right?
Social distancing.
Exactly.
Continue to social
So,
distance. Yeah.
a little bit more about your spiritual journey and where you started. I think you were saying you were exposed to church through the
Yeah,
teacher, right?
I
And
was exposed to church. We, again, this music teacher that I told you about who started us, put us in act school, started us singing. She, took us to church. We attended the Old First Church. It was a Presbyterian church. So, so Old First Presbyterian Church in Newark is the oldest church, I believe, in the country. That church was built in 1666. That's not a typo. 1666.
Right,
Old First Presbyterian Church. Yeah. So, grew up in the church, Presbyterian church. But as you got older and you kind of, learn from things on your own and getting out there into the world. So I think I migrated from a Presbyterian church, and then when I was, I believe, 19 or 20, I started going to I was an Episcopal church. I started there, and I didn't have a church home, so to speak. I would, go to different churches as when I was 19, 20, out there on my own. Sometimes, you're out there on your own. You don't really have any mentors. So again, like I said, I've always tried to do better. I've always tried to seek support, although I didn't know that's what I was doing. So then, when I was like 19 or 20, I would attend different churches to see what was, to see what else was out there. And I started dating. When I started dating my wife, Kim was a member of a Baptist church. So Kim really introduced me to a Baptist church. So so from, I would say, probably 26, 27, I started going to a Baptist church. 26, 27, started going to a Baptist church. Now, fast forward some years later, Kim and I actually I've been practicing Buddhism actually for the last 2-3 years.
Oh, okay.
And so, again, that's one of the things. Like I said, I've always, studied about different religions. I've even studied Islam in my early 20s. Also, I used to go to Juma every Friday. Again, and it's that it's your spirit and your soul just kind of continue to search and continue to learn. What's out here? What's my purpose? I think we're all trying to get, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And so for me, there's a couple of things I do. Like I said, I practice spirituality, Buddhism. So we practice, it's called Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Yeah, I know that, right?
Right. You 2 times a day, saying from the Gohanzen. But outside of Buddhism, I started meditating when I was, I believe, like 18 or 19 years old. So meditating has also been a part of my spiritual journey. I can't begin to tell you, if you don't meditate, for folks out there, it's a wonderful thing. It grounds you, number one, and it clears that clutter in your head.
Yes.
That fog that we sometimes get, and it clears uncertainty, and it clears, when you're depression and all those things that come, anxiety, all those things that come with living on the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it just, for me, it just grounds me every day. It's like putting on your armor. Meditation is like before you start your day, 15, 20-minute meditation. And it could be just focusing on your breath. It could be a guided meditation. It could be chanting, on a certain word or certain object for 15,
Mhm.
20 minutes a day,
Mhm.
doing that. And it just, again, like it just centers you and it just puts your
Right.
arm, and, it just, to me, I can get through anything. Um,
Mhm.
I can get anything that comes my way. I I can get through that if I meditate every day, if I just remain focused and remain positive. But it
Mhm.
gets, I'm a human being like everybody else. We get depressed, and we go through life. We've lost, certainly over the last year. Many of us have lost loved ones
Mhm.
to this COVID. So
Mhm.
yeah, you've got to find that space, that me time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I like what you said because it's a practice. It's a continuous practice. And
yes,
if
it is.
you look at it as anything that we do, if we want to be good at it, if we want it to work for us, we're continuously practicing. So I always look at all of my spiritual practices as practice, just
Right,
what the word is,
right,
right?
exactly, right.
Um, and what you said about meditation is interesting because it doesn't have to be a long meditation either,
Right,
right? People think
right.
you have to sit there for so long, you
No,
really don't. And
no.
the idea of you could do a guided meditation, you could
Yep.
sit in quietness, you could do chants, right? But the
Exactly.
idea is to
Right.
really just be still, right? And
Right.
just
Yeah. You
let
don't.
it
You don't have.
all
You
go.
don't have to go away like Moses did for 40 days up in the mountains.
No,
You
right?
know. Just start off with. Just start off 5 minutes a day.
Yeah,
Start 5 minutes a day. So
5
doing
minutes
that,
a day.
you know, and exercise. We although I got to admit, I would like to exercise every day, but depending on my schedule sometimes, or just um, not getting up early. I plan on getting up early, or I might stay up late binging on
Mhm.
Netflix or something like that. So
Right.
push your schedule off. But if you can exercise, fine. We all need to find time to exercise it. And that's 10-15 minutes a day too. You don't need to
Yeah.
exercise an hour a day.
I
Just
think we block it for ourselves because we think it has to be so much. We make it
right,
so big, right?
right,
I got to do this big thing. And even
right,
just starting with 5 minutes or anything, if you commit to 5 minutes, you're bound to do more,
right,
right? It's
exactly,
just
right,
right. And just saying,
yeah,
okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes of this
right,
sets you up because then once you start meditating and you get into it as a practice, you'll do more.
right,
You'll,
exactly,
you'll get so much out of it that you will look forward to your meditation
right,
time,
right.
and it becomes a part of what you do. It's just what you do.
Yeah,
When we
I don't know. I think, and it's just finding quality time for yourself and to
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? And a lot of times, because it's hard to do when you have, some of us have children, small children. My kids are older, so it's easy for me to find some quiet time to myself. But when you have small children, it's a little difficult to do.
mm-hmm,
But it's setting the intention to find that time to just be, just
mm-hmm,
just 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 be.
mm-hmm.
Just being still. Um, you know, Setting your intention for the day or for the week, and that's when your goals come into play. Setting the time to just celebrate you, and
Mhm,
celebrating you could just be standing in the mirror,
mm,
excuse me,
mm,
and saying, you know, I love you to yourself.
right.
Um, you know what I mean? It could be something as simple as that.
Mhm, mhm. I know that I always say when you really love yourself, then self-care becomes a whole lot easier. It becomes
Mm,
so much easier because I love myself so much that I'm going to take care of myself.
right,
Right? And all of that between loving yourself, you eat differently, right? You get to do the exercise. You look for time for yourself, right? And you work to be better because you love yourself. It's the same as I think when you love somebody so much, you want to give them the world, you want to do everything for them, turn it around and loving ourselves that much,
Right.
it'll show up in
Right.
the way.
Exactly.
It'll just show up, right?
Right.
So,
Right. It's right. Right. It's right. Again, it goes back to when people, it goes back to time. We all have choices with what we do with our time.
right,
In the country that we live in. Okay,
right,
there are some
right.
folks who don't have, um, you
So
know,
we have a lot of
we don't
choice.
have the option, right? So we have
Right.
a choice with we have a choice with our time. It was funny. I was watching. I was reading, watching this blog, and I can't I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was called Positive Mentor,
Mhm.
and the gist of the story was the guy was saying the title was "Life is Hard," right? Life is hard, right? So the question was, do you want life to be hard now or do you want life to be hard later? I'm like, okay, I don't understand. What is this guy saying?
Right.
So do you want your life to be hard now or do you want your life to be hard now or easy later? Or do you want your life to be easy now or hard later? That's what he was saying. And
Okay.
so what he's basically saying is life is hard. Basically, what you have to do is do the work now. Whatever that
Mm,
work is that you need to do, if it means exercising, if it means eating right, if it means hitting the ground running, busting your tail for the next 3 to 5 years to get your
mhm,
business off the ground,
mhm,
for it to be a success where you want it to be. Do the hard work now, right?
mm,
Because if you do
mm,
the hard work now, it'll be easy later. Or do you
mm,
want your life to be easy now, meaning in terms of your health? Easy now is eating the things that you know you should not be eating,
mm.
right? Eating those potato chips, and I do it too, those cookies, those cake, eating all the things that
Right.
you know that you should not eat, or not
Mhm,
exercising, right? We all
mhm.
should exercise. So life
Right.
is easy now. It's easy now because we're not doing the things that we should be doing. Or fast forward, now it's going to be hard later, meaning that as a
Mhm.
result of us not exercising and eating right,
The
now we're getting medical health
consequences.
issues.
Right, right,
We're
right, right.
not going to have the body that we desire to have
Mhm,
later because we didn't take
mhm,
the time now to
mhm.
do the hard work.
Right.
And so I
It's
thought that was very,
interesting.
yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I'm like, wow, do you want your
Yeah.
life to be hard now, easy
Oh,
later, or do you want it to
mhm.
be easy now or hard later?
What comes to mind for me when I heard that was um, the thoughts that we have now are creating our future. So in this moment, right, when we talk about setting intentions and we talk about setting goals, we are creating our future based on the current thoughts that we're having.
Right, right,
And so that's what came to mind for me when you say you want it to be hard now or easy later. It was just a matter of in this present moment, you know,
right,
how are you impacting your future life? And it's
right,
also like I
exactly.
like that what you're saying too about choices that we make. We're choosing right now. The choices that we make now can impact us for the future.
Ex-
Right.
exactly.
And so
Absolutely.
in thinking about how do you want to live, I want to live easy right now and easy then too,
Right. He said, he said, "I want to live easy right now and easy there." Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
right?
That
Oh,
wasn't the story, Grenada.
I
Okay, it wasn't about easy, easy. It was about
that wasn't a,
hard, easy, and
that
easy,
wasn't
hard.
a
He said,
Oh wow, yeah, but it is interesting though too, and it does come to mind for me how you know as a younger person how I worked hard, I went to school, I did everything they said, I was on the just going through the whole working hard, being the best, doing all of that, right?
right.
And now I don't have to do all of that anymore
Right.
because
Well, look, your life was hard earlier, so right. So it's easy now. Although you know that's what you were doing.
right,
Yeah,
I didn't know, right.
Right. You did the hard stuff
I
early.
did the
So
hard stuff
yeah.
early, right? And really though, my message to younger people who I like to be around and mentor and talk to is it does not have to be hard though. It really doesn't have to be the hard that we made it hard, but you have
Right.
to be intentional,
Right.
right? There's
Right.
certain things you have to have discipline, you have to be intentional. There's certain ways of being that you have to be, but it doesn't have to be hard. I
Right.
always
Yeah.
like to adopt the work smart rather than hard
Right.
philosophy,
Well,
right?
I mean, when we say hard, there's when I mean hard, what we're probably saying there are things that are going to be challenging in your
Yeah,
life.
right,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Right.
deal with those challenges. I mean, we're going to have challenges, our entire lives, throughout our entire lives. There's going to be things that are going to that are within our control. There's going to be things that are not going to be within our control. So, and it's not about control. It's really about a kind of again, taking on those challenges as early as possible in your life to make your life a lot less challenging later on.
Right.
To have
Saving money now for when you retire. One of those. I mean,
right,
I think about it like what,
yeah,
and not the idea of putting your finances in order now so that when you get to a certain age, they're in order. So
right,
that's a process of getting there.
right, exactly. Yeah, I mean right. It's just setting goals early on in life, taking on some of those goals which are going to be very challenging to you, and doing the work now instead of constantly thinking that instead of kicking the can down the street, so to speak. You know what I mean? And that's you know that's what I tell my kids. My kids are 23 and 21. I also have an older son who's 29. But I tell them now these are your years where you guys got to put in the work. You got to put in the grind. And but outside of that, I think regardless of where you are in life, you have to continue to have goals. You have to continue to set goals. Because if you're waking up every day and with no goal in mind, it's like, so what are you moving towards?
Yeah, right.
Moving towards something, just I don't know. When I have a goal in front of me, when I'm moving towards a goal, when I set up plans to do something in the future, it motivates me. It's a motivator. Like I'm currently working on my second master's. I'm working on a master's in healthcare administration now. And so, I thought about it. I said, okay, I got my MBA. I already I got my MBA. Do I want to go back to school? So not only am I working on a second master's, and then I'm going to think about maybe, do I want to work on a doctorate? Maybe I want to get my doctorate. It's just constantly, you got to constantly work towards something. Like my wife and I, like where do we want to go? Another great thing is to plan, trips. I know you had one of your guests on, Shirley Renee. I love Shirley Renee.
Yes.
Shirley travels. I envy Shirley. I said, boy, Shirley travels all over the world. She is everywhere. But it's just like, set a goal to go to, I don't know, Hawaii next year or what have you. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just set the intention and let the universe take its course to put the people, places, and things in motion for you to get to Hawaii. So it just setting goals just motivates you. It's just, I don't know, just make life a lot more exciting to me.
Yeah.
When I'm,
we talk about setting goals, and then what pops into my mind that I like to talk about is what gets in the way, how we get in our own way sometimes in achieving the things that we want to achieve, right?
Yeah.
So setting the goals and then being able to stay the course, right?
And it's difficult sometimes. I think it happens. It happens to all of us, just as a condition of living on planet Earth. There are things that happen, unforeseen issues that happen, events that happen in our lives that we, they unsuspectedly happen to us. We lose people, we lose
Mm,
jobs, we lose spouses, we whatever. There's always going to be roadblocks in our way.
mm-hmm,
But I just think it goes back to that. What is it that makes you get up every day? What armor can you use? What spiritual tools can you use to
mm-hmm,
say, no matter what comes my way, I'm
mm-hmm.
still going to continue to move forward. And
Yes.
if you need to take time to sit down for a minute, or to nurse your wounds for a minute, take that time. But you
Mm-hmm.
constantly also have to continue setting the intention to get back up,
Yeah.
dust yourself off, and keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only option for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that is a good option to keep getting up, right? You know that song, like we fall down, but we get
Right.
up, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That was a
Exactly.
good song, right?
Exactly.
That was
Right.
a really good song. And
That was a beautiful
earlier
song. Great song.
when you were talking, what I thought of is responding versus reacting. Because you were talking about we have situations in life, and then how do we deal with them, right?
Right.
And I find that by having spiritual practices and spiritual tools, I'm responding versus reacting,
Right.
and in doing that, it's just like situations come, take that moment to take that breath, right, before
Right.
you just jump out there. And that's a practice too, because we're so quick, the
Right.
emotions come, whatever comes, and we're quick to go. But
Right.
just in that moment, take that moment, and then you can respond versus
Right.
react,
Right.
right, to all life situations, people
Yeah.
and all.
Right. I mean, right. The only thing you can only control, um, control your reaction, or your response to something.
Mm-hmm.
We can't control others. So again, it goes back, right. It goes back to, that self control. Like, regardless of what someone says about me or what someone does to me,
Mm-hmm.
how am I going to react to that? And you have
Mm-hmm.
again, everything goes
Sure.
back to choice.
Absolutely, choice.
If somebody calls me, a knucklehead, you're a knucklehead. I can, okay, all right, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, or I can lash out and call you a knucklehead.
Right, right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we just have to all just understand how powerful we all are.
Mm.
We
Mm.
all, every single human being on this planet is more powerful than what they believe they are.
Mm.
And I've learned that through my experiences, growing up, that I've been in situations where I didn't know how I was going to get out of it, or it could be a financial situation, or it could be a situation at work, or just some very stressful situation, and we have more power than we believe.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's going back to whatever spiritual tools that you use. What meditation? It could be for some people. A lot of people, it's gospel music. Some people, before they go
Yeah,
to work, they get in their car and they turn that.
that's
That's
right.
their spiritual tool. That's their armor that they put on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, whatever tool that you can use to get you to reach the goal that you're striving to reach towards, regardless of the situations, you know, the issues that come up in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you can use for yourself? What helps you? And again, it's just, for me, it's again being positive, doing
Mm-hmm.
meditation, and just
Mm-hmm.
always trying to just have that positive attitude.
Yeah.
One thing that attracted me to my wife is that she's always positive. You know,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Kim always can see. She's just always been supportive of me. She's always, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been she's been my number one fan. Whatever it is that I
Right.
want to do.
Always in your corner. Yeah.
Yeah, she's always in my corner, and we all need somebody like that. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
it could be a friend, or
Right.
surround yourself with people that
Mm-hmm.
are going to challenge
Absolutely.
you. to get to your what's next.
Yes.
Surround yourself with people that are going to challenge you to grow, to step
Yeah.
outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to, surround yourself with people. I think who was it? Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey said it was a guy who it was 6 guys. One of the guys said he has 5. He hang around with 5 idiots, right? So that means that you are the 6th idiot, right?
Right.
But he hangs around 5 idiots. So what does that make you if you hang around with 5 idiots? So surround yourself with people that are going to help support you in a way to bring out the best in you, to bring out the best, the grandest, the biggest version of who you are.
That's right. Yes, I agree. Yep, and I know, my line is that I want to help you find joy living your best life, right? And that's it. Everybody, and surround yourself with people who support you in living your best life. Find those people that encourage you. And that's what I love about the Momentum community, because we're all about it in there. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's just about getting it done and stepping outside of their comfort zone, and being in that kind of environment really keeps you going.
Right. You want to be right. You want to be in that. You want to be in that village. You want to be in that village and that community of like-minded individuals.
Exactly.
Okay. But having said that, that's not to say that you have to do the work too. You have to do the work.
You have to do the work.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can. Somebody. I can be around people that say, Derek, do it, man. You can do it. You got this. Blah 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 blah. But unless you take action, it's being proactive. We talk about being proactive and being reactive. We just talked about that. And part of being, that spirituality, those tools that you use, is being proactive to take on, to react to something in a way that's going to benefit you, not it's going to put you on the wrong side of whatever that issue is.
Right. Absolutely.
But again, like you have to do the work.
You have to do the work.
Well, who was the one said that, I can take you to the well, but I can't make you drink the water. You have to. You have to step up and do the work, and you can do the work.
Right. My whole line is always, it all begins with you, right? It all begins with you, right?
Yeah.
Also, I learned from your sister that you are like a historian on Black culture and Black history. She was like, oh yeah, Derek is into that. And then today it's Black History Month. It's February 1st. And I saw you posted today. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that. If you're constantly trying to learn.
I'm not gonna call myself an historian. I just like to be informed, Right. I mean, there are so many, and I'm glad you brought that up about Black History Month. There are so many African Americans that have paved the way and that have contributed to this country, that have contributed to African Americans today having the ability to complete their goals and having the ability to be in a space and be in an environment where they weren't allowed to fulfill their dreams. And I challenge everybody. I know we only got a few minutes, but I challenge everybody who's listening is to do research on African Americans that you may not know of. Now, the gentleman that I put up today, I didn't know that until today, until I did research today, and, which prompted me to say, you know what, I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to find somebody every day outside of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
I have these cards. I don't know if we can see them on this thing.
Do. I have those cards too. I have those cards too.
Right, Black History flashcards, right? Yes. And I got volume 1, and then I have a whole series. They have women.
I only have 1 deck.
Oh man, I have 5 decks. Right?
I know there were 5 decks. Okay. Yes.
5 decks, right? And there are the usual people that you know, but there's so many more that you don't know. So I'm flipping through what I know, and I'm looking over here. Oh, well, I didn't know that. But
Yes.
I like, so I'm gonna go through mine too and post some of the people
Yeah.
that
Post
we
right.
don't
Post. Yeah.
necessarily know about. But
Oh
right
my
when I
God.
saw that, I was like, oh, I have my cards, and I was like, who am I going to flash them to? Myself, right? Or my
Wow.
grandkids, right?
Right.
At least I could teach them Black history, people that,
Right.
not like you said, the ones
Yeah.
we know. There are so many more that
Yeah.
made
So
so
many that we just don't know. We
we
just
just don't know, and that we were just never told, right? And so that I really appreciate just being educated about
right.
who they are, and this is a good time. So I really appreciate it seeing
Yeah.
a post today and learning about the guy you posted about today.
Yes. I mean, it's a funny thing about social media. That's another I think another thing that I do every year, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it the beginning of this year, and I normally do it from the first month of the year in January. I normally do not go on social media. I just do like a social media what do you call it?
Right.
Fast.
Right. Fast or a break.
Right. Yeah, a social media break to kind of
Mm-hmm.
just start to kind of set my goals for the year in motion and not be distracted by social media. Because let me tell you something, you could waste a lot of time on social media. on social media.
You can. Oh my God. You
Stay
have
off
to.
that TikTok.
Yeah. I just look a little bit, but even in thinking about promoting businesses and thinking about everything is now on the Instagram or the
Oh yeah,
Facebook.
there's so many new
Oh
platforms.
my God.
What's the new
And
platform
so
right now, Kim? What's it called? There's another platform called Reels. There's another platform though that you have to be invited to it. What is it called?
the Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. I got invited to that
Yeah,
yesterday.
I saw you there yesterday. I
Yeah,
just got on too. And
yeah,
it's very interesting because you don't know what to do at first, right?
right.
And so when I first got in, I was like, so what is this and what do we do here, right? But I found last night I listened to a very interesting talk on stocks and the GameStop.
Okay, right. Yeah, the GameStop. Yeah,
Oh, I listened to that and they explained that. And I was like, oh, well, that was interesting. But it's
yeah.
still, to me, another way to be on social media,
Oh,
another
yeah.
way to be distracted from reading a book, because I love
Right,
reading books, right? So it was educational last night.
right. Yeah, I set up I don't remember how I set it, but I get notification. I got so many notifications. I said, oh boy, this thing is really. I'm in so many. I checked on so many chat
Oh,
rooms.
yeah, I did check on a lot of them.
I checked on. I probably checked on one too many, but but yeah. So you probably want to. Another good thing is you want to set yourself aside from social media to kind of put your plan in place for the year.
Yeah.
That's what I normally do. And I'll do it at one month of this year where I'll just stay away from social media for 30 days just so I can get back in tune with myself, get my equilibrium back. And another read books, find some time to read books. Find some time to just depress or compress from the outside and to go within so that I can, again, replenish myself to take on whatever else comes my way. So.
Well, Derek, time just flew away from us, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah. Thank you. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that you were able to join me today.
Oh yeah, it was my pleasure. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yes, it's been great talking to you, and I'll definitely be in touch with you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, and thank Mr. Prophet as well.
All right, I will.
It was great. All right, stay safe out here. Stay warm from the snow, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today on Conversations with Reverend G. It was nice having Derek here. And you can find me here every Monday night on WEMS radio from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., bringing you special guests. And I'd like to leave you with this one thought around taking that moment of self care where you're just quiet. You can meditate, you could do a guided meditation, you could chant, but just taking your moment to be quiet and decompress. I am Reverend G, and you can find me on Instagram as Rev Grenetta and on Facebook and YouTube as Reverend Grenetta Mason. You have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.